Hi, I'm Mark Mancini with VRBOutstanding. This week's episode is about gifts. So this week, we'll be discussing the right and the wrong gifts to leave for guests. Not only that, we're going to discuss how to leave them and the importance of gifting your brand. Because remember, you want repeat guests, you want referrals, and you want to ensure that 5-star review. So to help me with this week's episode, I have Rick Bernstein from MBM Advertising. And Rick, for our first short-term rental, you recommended a cooler. This is actually a pretty neat cooler. It's an accordion for those people who can't really tell. This actually folds flat. It's got kind of like a spring in it across the middle, and it's got a bottle opener as well on the zipper. And it's just a pretty neat gift that we leave out for the guests. And we've also done another one, a little higher end one that you've done for our latest short-term rental. And that one I'm going to show you right here. This one actually keeps items cool for up to 3 days.
Yeah, that's the 3-day, right?
Yep,
that's a good one.
3-day cooler. and you know what we do with these, Rick, is we actually put a thank you note in front of the cooler, and just and in our course VRBOutstanding.com, we set the stage for the 5-star review before arrival, and then when they get there. They see the gift, they've got the personalized thank you note. It says from Dolly and Mark, your hosts, and it lets them know that we've gone that extra step for them. And really at that point we've earned our 5 stars before the week started. But this cooler, and we've only had this we've only been live in this rental, Rick, since August 1st. And I can say probably almost every week we get a comment from guests saying how they love the cooler. It's been phenomenal. Now, this rental is a little higher end price point, so I have to make sure I preface everything with that. But there are some people, Rick, that have got homes that rent maybe for only $3,000 a week. What do you think would be a good price point, and why for them to gift something for someone?
Well, I've always said that it's obviously a personal decision, and I will never push somebody into trying to steer them towards a higher price end. But I will say that even with a lower cost STR, that it's going to be important to do something that is quality, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like that 3-day cooler bag. You can do lower end coolers. I always tell my clients whether or not I feel something doesn't fit what the need might be. But as I mentioned, some of the categories, coolers, drinkware, towels, and totes, there's various price points within those. So you can do the 3-day, and I don't recall off the top of my head what the cost of that. You might remember better than I
would. Funny is we whenever we do these, we always think long term, because also too, when you buy more you get a better discount. So we bought a few hundred, so at that point I forgot what the price was. But
yeah, I'm going to say 50.
Something like these are pretty inexpensive. Yes. and very versatile.
Well, that's what I was going to suggest too, and mention that whether it was $50 to $75, or you want to keep a budget of $10, $20, etc. You could always find good items. So like something from a low end item. If somebody's traveling, you can do let's say if this is just a small little travel bag and I've had people they will fill these small travel bags. They can use them later for cosmetics as a toiletry bag, tech bag. They'll use all their cords for it. But for the short-term rental, they could fill these with some other products. So you can take some inexpensive, let's say, koozies that they'll be able to use while they're out by the pool, on the Oasis, and but you can fill a travel bag with some other products. as Mark was showing, you can do um, different types of tumblers, full color logos. You can do insulated bottles, that these are laser engraved, but you can still go inexpensive. So this one, is it's not insulated, but it's still very versatile, very utilitarian, and nobody's going to get rid of these bottles, and so you can always do products like
I
that.
can attest to that, Rick, because I have a cabinet filled with these because we love them. We take them when we travel. We've got a 13-hour drive down to the Keys, so we're constantly bringing 2 or 3 of these in the car with us. And that's the thing I guess people need to understand is get them a gift they're going to use. Make sure that logo gets out there. And also, too,
large branding areas too are really important because it goes the length of the bottle, so it doesn't have to be small, but that's what we also will get into, and we can have that discussion later about the logos and what logos are the right logos to use and how go about doing that.
And coffee mugs don't necessarily travel well, right? As you were saying earlier, but these tumblers do. And what's interesting, I want to share with you this story. There's a gentleman who I met in one of the Facebook groups. He's got a dozen short-term rentals throughout the U.S., and he's got a closet that his cleaning staff inventories each week, and he has slippers, robes, towels, hats, and he just tells people, here are the prices, take what you want, and we'll just bill you afterwards. And he does that, and he gets his brand out there. People enjoy it. They can try it out first. They can take their choice. Well, I don't like this. I want this. I can use this. But you had mentioned the beach towels. I think that's a phenomenal idea for our next one, possibly. So be prepared on that one. And you always have some great ideas. And I do appreciate your expertise and your experience with this because, like I said, we've done some creative things. I remember one gift you got us in trouble at a hotel. There were these Nerf rockets, right? There were these rockets that had an elastic, had an opening for a thumb, and you just pulled it back and let it go, and this thing went about 100 feet.
And you shot them from aisle to aisle to aisle, yes.
Oh yeah, we were at the this big open area, and we only had these booths, and all you saw were these rockets flying everywhere. People came to our booth. We gave them all away. Had our logos, as you had said, all across the rocket, and got our name out there. It had its effect, just like these. Like I said, you're going to give them something, and it may be inexpensive, but it's something that this is a nice hat, and Dolly gets compliments on this all the time, and I can assure you, she tells a story about where we went on our honeymoon to this hotel and how great it was. And they can do the same thing about your short-term rental, and that's what you want, Rick, right? The repeat business, right?
Absolutely, and you want to realize that you'll know branding works because you'll refer to the bottle or the jacket or the hat by what's on that hat. So if you have a baseball cap that says Harley Davidson on it, and you're looking for that hat, and you're yelling out to your wife, where's the hat? The Harley hat. You'll remember the products by the logo that's on there. So it just tells you that you will know the branding because you know it by what's on there. Whether you realize it or not, I think you definitely do. And so I think it is that important. But to go and bring it full circle, to give out products that don't, it's still a nice thing to do. And I don't want to pretend that giving out any kind of snacks or candy or anything that doesn't have your branding on it, yes, it's still a nice thing to do. But you could be utilizing your funds a lot better, and like you said, such long-lasting, sentiment when people realize they got something like that 3-day cooler. I knew you've mentioned that one quite a few times, and I knew you liked it, and I'm not surprised I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, and like I said, it is something that is unique because it's a valuable gift. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive. Would someone buy it on their own? Probably not, but as a gift, they love it, and that's exactly what these gifts should be. Something they may not necessarily would buy on their own, but if someone gave it to them, they would totally value and appreciate it. So, definitely kudos on that one. And I just want to say thank you for all your experience and your time here, Rick, for sharing your experience today. And thanks once again for really being a part of this. And just a reminder to everyone out there, we go into this in much more detail in my course at VRBOutstanding.com. It's a 9-hour course. It is the only short-term rental course I have ever seen that has a money-back guarantee, and we do that for one reason. We stand behind it. We know it's the best one out there. So thanks so much, and we're going to see you again next week with another new video.